If you want to consider doing sales, I highly suggest that you don't, unless if you're a sociopath.
Honey.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to talk to you today about sales, working in sales and slash recruitment, because it's shit. I worked in sales. My first job after university was working basically in a cult. It was one of those jobs, you know, when you have people that accost you in the middle of the street, like, "Hi, excuse me, sir, can you stop? We need you to give us some money and a monthly donation to help deaf children." That's the job I did, right? And yeah, it was 100% commission, and it was terrible, but it was good at the same time. And then after that, I left. I did another sales job, and it was terrible. It was good because it wasn't, the people I worked with were good. They were nice. They weren't too. It wasn't like too stressful. Because I know there's other sales environments that it's all about targets, targets, targets. Like you could be fired in a week for not hitting your target. So that was okay. And then I worked another sales job just because I knew what I wanted to do, but it was hard to get a job in the industry that I wanted to go into. So with sales, there's always jobs. So I want to give reasons why it's good and why it's not. And if you want to consider doing sales, I highly suggest that you don't, unless if you're a sociopath.
Honey.
Okay, number one, it is good money. Most of the sales jobs I did, starting salary was pretty good. The thing with sales is that, like, unless if you've been in a company for a long time or whatever, when you get your interview, you just brag, you just chat rubbish. It's all about gift of the gab. So most like hiring managers want to hear about your resilience, you know, how you don't take, if you get a no, you know you're closer to a yes, that you get to control how you feel, um that you have self-discipline, you want to go the extra mile, you chase down leads, you're proactive, all this BS. But then once you do get the job, you could be earning something depending on your past experience. The highest one I got, I was getting at 24k before probation, and then after probation would have been 25k. So that was pretty good. Like I said, sales is very easy to get a job in sales because there's a very high turnover, very high turnover, because it's super stressful. You know, if you're not stressed, your supervisor's stressed because his manager's stressed, because the managing director's stressed, because so and so is stressed because you're not hitting the goals. Whether it's recruitment, whether it's selling conference tickets, whether it's, you know, any type of sales, you know, set of charity donations, monthly donation stuff. Sales is very stressful, and it's so funny because your manager or people that you worked with or people that work in sales will say, "Oh, it's easy, all I have to do is make 100 calls. Out of the 100, probably 50 might pick up, and out of the 50, maybe 30 or 20 will listen to what I actually have to say, and then out of that 20, maybe 5 or 6 will agree to get more details or have a meeting, and then after that, you know, handful, maybe only one will, you'll be able to close the deal on one of those persons, and then maybe out the handful you'll be able to close the deal on that one person, and even that one person, they might take time to like confirm that they want to do business with you. So then you're waiting for months on end, months and then just to close a deal, which is just exhausting. And another thing about sales, I don't know if I'm a cynic, call me a cynic, I don't know, but I feel like the people that succeed the most at sales are the ones that lie and exaggerate, because you can't be an honest salesperson. It just doesn't work. Like, there's all these sales psychology tricks and tips, like urgency. So kind of like, okay, say you need to sell, for example, you want to offer someone a deal, say like conference tickets, okay? They just went on sale. You probably have 500 to sell, yeah? But you tell the person who you're on the phone to that, oh, we've only got maybe 100 left. You know, we've had a high demand, we've only got 100 left, and I've reserved maybe 50. And, you know, you're going really quick. So if you wanted to secure your place, you'd have to book in the next 2 days, 3 days. But really, it's BS because no one's bought the tickets. You're struggling to even get one person to pick up the phone, but you just told this guy, yeah, they're selling like hotcakes. So you have examples like that, and it's just kind of like it's very deceitful, manipulative, and you don't. I never felt good on the phone telling someone that, oh you know, you need to buy this right now. But then at the same time, I felt a sense of haha, like if that person fell for it, I felt a bit like a Machiavellian villain. But it's not ethical. It never is ethical. But then you'll get your managers or your supervisors pushing you to make the sales, and there's so much pressure on you. So then you have to be like, oh, okay, you have to do whatever it takes because they're expecting you to do whatever it takes to get the clothes, to get the deals, to get the tickets, to get the sales. So you're going to do whatever it takes. And then when you see other salespeople, they're saying crazy stuff. So then it becomes the norm. I remember I went to an interview and it was for sales position and it was for advertising sales in newspapers. So it was kind of like in the back of the newspapers you have like little advertisement stuff. And then I remember this woman, she got through to the gatekeeper, so the receptionist. She's like, oh, me and so we had an appointment booked for 5 o'clock. And then the receptionist like, no, he didn't. Said, oh, no, we did. He said blah, 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 blah. But they never had an appointment booked. She was just lying through her teeth. And it's crazy. Like, huh? Like, I really didn't like to bother or like chase someone. When you're doing sales, it's all about numbers.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
To get a deal. And then you might call someone, like, when it's like when you have like those stupid telecoms people like calling you like, hello, blah, 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 and you're just like, hello, do you want to, and you're like, no, go away. So imagine you're being on the other side and like, hello, would you be interested? No, it's like, oh, but we really think you'll be interested. And like, no, I'm not interested. Like, yeah, but we really think you'll be interested. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. Or there's like, you call me back tomorrow at 5, okay, can we make that definite? I'll call you back tomorrow at 5. And like, yeah, and then you call them at 5 and then pick up. And then you get really like defeated and you're thinking, wow, like this person isn't picking up, and then you have to chase that person.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Maybe for a couple of days, couple of weeks, even a couple of months, for them to be like, oh yeah, sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. Or you could be in a situation where you have a conversation with the person, they're interested in your product or service, and then they're like, yeah, really, really cool, yeah. But they don't have authorization to sign it off. They don't have the financial authorization. They have to go to the decision maker, so it could be their boss, and then the boss, he might not authorize that deal, or there might not be enough budget allocated for that service, and then you've kind of gone on a high like, yeah, they're gonna sign it, and then the decision maker literally shits on your face, and then you're like, okay, back to square one. It's terrible. And I think with sales, I think for like 80% of the time you feel like shit because no one's picking up the phone, can't get sales, and people will love to say, oh, because you're not trying hard enough, oh, you don't have a good mindset or good positive attitude. This is the thing with sales. I think in sales they kind of feed on not toxic masculinity, they feed on toxic positivity. So it doesn't matter if like you're sad, it doesn't matter if you didn't make a deal, no one's picking up the phone, you have to still try. You can't be upset, you need to be resilient, you need to keep on going. But then you're having a shit time, but then when you try and be a human and be like, I'm having a shit time, sometimes they don't want to hear it. They want to hear you hear how you've made the deal, hear how you've made the company money. When it comes to your own mental health, then they're kind of like, no, you're just being a drama queen, or no, it's not that deep, just keep on phoning, someone's going to pick up. And I think for me, when it's like you have a salary plus commission, for me, I was kind of just living off the salary. I wasn't thinking about, oh yeah, it's extra commission, I'm going to be able to go on holiday, I want to put it towards a car, or blah, blah, blah. I was kind of like, you know what, I'm living for the salary, it's cool. But then in my first job where it was 100% commission, I had to literally slave away because I had to make that money. Otherwise, I wasn't eating.
If y'all don't give me my motherfucking money, somebody gonna die.
But then it's kind of like they had this kind of toxic culture where if you wasn't making a good amount of money, then you wasn't money motivated. And if you wasn't money motivated, then that kind of meant that you were a loser, that you had no ambition, that, you know, you didn't care about life. And it's like, not everyone in life is money motivated. Not everyone wants to make huge money. Some people want to be comfortable, but not a lot of people in the world want to make millions or billions. But even sales, you're not making billions and millions, depending on your industry. Maybe a couple thousands, couple hundreds of extra commission. So I was kind of like, how can you say that because I'm not money motivated, that I'm just like a loser? I was like, come on, really? And it was crazy because some of the sales managers emotionally blackmail you, like, oh, you know, I thought you said that you wanted to, let's say, get your mum a car, but you're not hitting the sales. Imagine your mum was here and she saw how much of a dick you were acting, how lazy you were. And then you're kind of like, oh no, I'm going to do this for my mum. No, really, they want you to do it for them. They want to do it for the company. They don't care about you. And it's mad. It's just like a dog eat dog world. And it's crazy because sales is literally mentally and physically draining, because most companies, when you're doing sales, they expect you to work. Even I know for recruitment, a normal day in like a normal 9 to 5 is 9 to 5, right? Recruitment and some sales, you have to be in the office by 8. And then you might leave at 6 or 7. So you're hammering the phones, calling whoever, blah, 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 blah. And it could be emotionally draining, especially if you don't get a close, or you don't get someone who's interested in a follow-up. And then you're kind of thinking, okay, is it me? But then it might be a thing where you might be talking to a lot of people that aren't interested. But then you might be thinking, okay, but how comes I couldn't convince them enough to, you know, think about my product, to think about the service, to maybe want to use the service? Like, what was I doing wrong? So you're always self-analyzing yourself, you're always self-critiquing yourself. And if you're not, then your manager is, or if your manager isn't, then your colleagues are, because you're all comparing yourselves to each other. It's kind of like competition, like who could be the best seller for the month, you know, who's the best seller, you know, in the team. And it's crazy because you could be working, you could get home, you could be on your freaking, I know someone who's working sales, you know, they'll go home and they'll be on LinkedIn trying to get leads, emailing. It's like 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then I know an office that, a company that I went for a job interview, they were saying like, yeah, you know, on Saturdays, on the weekends, we expect you to get the newspapers and to check on different like advertising and stuff. So when you come in a Monday, you already have like your list of like 50 leads sorted for the whole week. It is very much draining in that sense. But then people say, oh yeah, but the financial rewards are great. But then it's like, okay, is it? Because you could say, is it really worth my time and energy to be in situations where I have to literally approach 1,000 people in the space of 3 months just to get one deal that could be worth 600, 1,000, but then the commission I get is lower than that. So then the people that are eating off my hard work are the owners of the company. I feel like it makes sense if it's your own company, then yeah, you're gonna put 110, 120% into what you want to do. But when it's for someone else's company, and you could literally be replaced like that, and it's kind of like, okay, why am I doing this? And it's mad because, especially if you're like a graduate, if you go for these sales or recruiting roles, they will say that they want a candidate who goes the extra mile, that shows their own initiative, blah, blah, blah. But then all this graft that you're doing is literally unpaid work. There's one thing if you're working in retail and you're getting paid overtime, but this is like unpaid work. But then you're thinking, oh, if I can get all this leads, then I can, you know, show that I have a great work ethic. But some companies do not care about your mental health. They do not care. They do not care. I remember the company I worked with, I don't know how, and then he got sacked or he had to quit because he couldn't physically walk up and down the streets asking people for a monthly donation. And it's mad. And it's mad because, like, with some companies, especially if it's a startup, there isn't like a commission scheme in place or implemented. Or sometimes in other companies, the commission scheme hasn't been created yet. Everything's like, it's a guessing game, basically. So if I was working at like I was working for a taxi company selling advertising on taxis, and when it came down to getting like a price to offer the client, it was literally like made up. So I could be like to the person, oh, we're gonna charge you this amount, or it will be this amount, or it will be that amount, and then it's kind of like, okay, but there isn't any commission structure in place. So if that deal does go through, if I'm successful, how much am I getting? And then that could be like, oh well, you know, you might get 600, or you might get 400 or 300, but then you might not get it until the end of the campaign. So it's like, imagine if they're doing a campaign for, I don't know, July, August, September, and then you might not get the commission until after September. Same with if you're selling out conference tickets. The conference could be in August, but you won't get paid until October, you know. And but then there's other companies where you get the commission inside of your monthly paycheck, which is cool, but still. And I think with sales, it's kind of like it brings more stress. Life is stressful. Yeah, life is stressful, but I think the job that you should choose should have reap more rewards than more like BS. And sales jobs certainly did that for me. I was always stressed. And then I hated how they always try to use all this like self-development books and all this stuff like, oh no, you know, you can control your mind, or, you know, speak things into existence, stop being emotional. I'm human at the end of the day. There's a reason why there's always such a high turnover when it comes to sales. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Unless if you're selling something you really love, then yeah. But if it's just a thing where you're just there for the paycheck, and then it's just like, this is just too much effort and too much stress upon my life, then what's really the point? They don't really acknowledge you unless you've made a huge sale or you've closed a few deals. I'm like, yeah, because you're bringing in money. But when you're not bringing in money, you know, you're not resourceful, you're not valuable, which is true, which makes sense, because if it's a sales job, you're supposed to be making it money, which makes sense, right? But then I think it's just like the way they go about it. And I think it's the thing where with sales, there's so many other jobs you could do. That's what I clocked. I was like, I'm never going back to sales again, because it's kind of like I could do so much other stuff, especially for me, like being creative. I'm kind of like, why would I go and do this type of stuff and kill myself every day when I could work doing something that I enjoy and that I think is amazing, that I don't have to stress myself out from doing sales. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you work in sales or worked in sales and you had good or bad experiences, then please comment, follow me. No, don't follow me. Subscribe to my channel. Like if you thought it was interesting. I'll see you later.